Keyword transformation, example 13. You should write down this question on a piece of paper or on your computer and have a think if you know the answer. When you've done that, press play. So, even if you think you know the answer, you should still go through this video lesson with me because we're going to practice getting the correct answer using my 10-step technique. And if you memorize this technique, you'll be able to use it with lots of variety of keyword transformation questions. So, let's get cracking with step number 1. Read the example sentence and the sentence with the missing information. This is the funniest book I've ever read. I've book before. Step number 2. Put a line through the duplicate information in both sentences. So take a minute to do this. Put a line through the information you find which is the same in the example sentence and in your sentence with the gap in it. And when you've done that, press play. Okay, so these are the words which I put a line through. Book and I've. Step number 3. Identify the type of word they give you. Funny. Is funny a noun, a verb, an adjective, or a different type of word? Again, you can pause this video for a minute and write down what type of word you think it is. When you're ready, press play. Okay, so the word funny is an adjective, often confused with the word fun. Okay, step number 4. Is this word used in any common collocations, expressions, phrasal verbs, etc.? So pause the video and write down all the collocations, expressions and phrasal verbs you can think of with the word funny. And when you've done that, press play and we'll have a look at what I've written down. Okay, so hopefully you've done that. Now, I couldn't think of any common collocations, expressions or phrasal verbs with funny. If you think you have some, then feel free to write me a message and tell me. I'd like to hear from you. But for now, I'm going to move on to step number 5, which is completing the gap in our sentence. So let's use the keyword and the information remaining from the example sentence, as in the information without a line through in the example sentence, to help us complete the gap. And you can pause the video and take a minute to write down the words you want to in the gap. And when you're ready, press play and we'll have a look at what words I put in the gap. Okay, so hopefully you've done that. And now we're going to have a look at what I've written in the gap. Never read such a funny. Okay. Doesn't matter if you've written down something different. You can continue using my technique, the next steps, with your own writing or using my writing and my words here. But I'm not sure if this is the correct answer anyway, so let's have a look at step number 6. If you're not sure, try asking yourself a question using the information you have. Okay, so take a minute and write down an appropriate question based on the answer and the sentence that you've filled in. And after you've done that, press play on the video, and then we can have a look at what I've written down as my question. Okay, so hopefully you've done that. Now, the question that I've written down is, have I ever read such a funny book? And step number 7 is to try to answer our question. So pause the video again and write an answer to your question, and then press play and we'll see what answer I've written to this question. Remember, try to answer it truthfully based on the information that we've been given. Okay, so the answer to have I ever read such a funny book is no. I've never read such a funny book before. And I can see now that my answer to this question actually has the same words as those that I've written in the gap. And that's a positive sign. But I'm still not 100% convinced, so I'm going to move on to step number 8, which is, can we put a line through all the remaining information? So again, you can pause this video and try to put a line through the remaining information that you find in the example sentence and in your sentence. And when you've done that, press play. Okay, so I put a line through a little bit more. Funniest book and ever read. Funniest, similar to funny. Book we have. Ever read is similar to never read. Step number 9. Is the overall meaning of our completed sentence the same as the overall meaning of the example sentence? So in the example sentence, this is the funniest book I've ever read. It's the most funny. And in my sentence that I've completed, I have never read such a funny book before. So again, it still means this book is the most funny, because no others compare to it. I've never read such a funny book before. This is the funniest. So the overall meaning is the same. Yes. And step number 10, make sure the words we use match each other. Okay. So I have should be followed by a past participle. And here it's the word read. Read, read, read. It's an irregular verb, and read like this is the past participle. Another thing is the word such, which is often followed by an indefinite article. And here we have the indefinite article a, so it's correct. And then often after such a or such an, we have an adjective and then a noun. And that is also the case here with the adjective funny and the noun book. So I'm feeling pretty positive. And I can tell you that this is the correct answer. If you have a different answer which you also think is correct, you can write me a message and ask me to check. Alternatively, if you think you got the answer wrong, don't worry, because we're going to keep using my technique with loads more examples. So I'll see you in Keyword Transformation 14.